welcome to another episode of Three Normal People. So today we'll be giving a bit of investment updates in October because today is 1st of November 2021, right? So the time of our posting is in November. So we'll just sum up what happened in October. But some of you might think that it's only temporary, but no. But all this will actually affect your future decision in investment wise and how you see the outlook of everything. So it is something related to Singapore as well. For our Singapore listener, is we'll be talking about the cost of inflation in Singapore currently, and investment dominated in Singapore dollars. After that, we'll be talking about the China power cut, Evergrande, and also some new things coming up is that the prime location public housing in Singapore for single people.
Yes.
Yep.
So later we'll be sharing with you this. So the first agenda, our topic for today is what actually causes inflation now in Singapore.
Yeah, have you realized that actually these days when you go and buy stuff, the things are getting more and more is there a word called expensive?
More expensive.
Oh, more expensive, okay.
Yeah. So actually I think I heard of your grandmother's story.
Oh yeah, okay. So basically, right, I was telling her before this shoot, so it's oh my god, because we discussed about this script, I was telling her, even my grandmother know that inflation is happening in Singapore, because when she goes to the market, she was telling me, wow, okay, she said in Chinese but the vegetable now, right, it's 30 cents more expensive compared to last time, and it's a bit too much. Then I was oh really, because I don't go grocery shopping. And then she said this, I was actually if you add up total, right, it's actually quite a lot.
Correct.
Right, 30 cents is a lot.
Yeah.
If you say one vegetable, right?
Yeah.
So basically, with the inflation world rising in Singapore, it has been Singapore's strategy to ward off inflation using the strength of Sing dollar. So actually, there's many reasons that cause this inflation. Yeah. So do you know what's the reason?
Inflation.
Yeah.
And over time, right, this inflation actually cause the price of the goods and services to increase. So that's why when we do our planning, we actually factor in this inflation roughly about 3 to 4%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are actually many reasons that causes inflation. So yeah.
Okay, so actually why inflation happens, right? Is because Singapore is heavily dependent on imports from other countries. Because right, our country is very small. That's why actually we really heavily depend on other people. So the shortage of supply will actually result in price hike. So the core inflation inched up to 1.1% year on year and increased from 1% in July, which rose in a 2 years high. So in July, right, actually it rise to 1%, and then I think it even went higher in August. That's why you see the price changes these days.
Yeah.
So actually this means that those investors who are thinking of making investment dominated in SGD, which is what we would be as elaborating later, they will change lesser Sing dollars in the future with with their own currency.
Correct.
As Singapore dollars continue to strengthen against most currency, right? And actually all this, right, to sum up what you can take away from this cost of inflation and everything, so what we can do and what you can take away from this, right, is actually higher inflation globally will eventually increase equity valuation in time, especially so for companies who are able to command price and pass costs to consumers. Now I sound like a news reporter, right? So actually all this, you might hear it a bit chim like that, but it actually means placing your money where it can beat inflation will sadly cannot beat inflation, right? Actually result in your
savings,
your hard-earned money, right, dwelling. Okay, I don't know how is it I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. Dwindling.
Okay, dwindling. so your hard-earned savings are dwindling because right, for example, if you put inside DBS, POSB, this kind of banks, the rate is actually 0.05%. And if the inflation is, you see, currently it rose by 1%, you're actually losing out. It's not you are losing out. You're actually losing money by putting money inside the bank.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is facts because right, with the bank interest is so low and it's getting lower and lower for a lot of different banks. Previously, I put in StanChart Jumpstart account, it was actually 2%. Correct. And I think it currently dropped below 1%. So with this, actually, we have to find ways, right, to beat inflation so that in the future, our money won't lose out. Your hard-earned money won't be for example, you earn 2K. 2K now is might be very big to you, but in 10 years' time, right, 2K, what can you do?
Yeah, so you must take note of the present value and the future value of our money. So when we put our money into investment, make sure that this amount actually can beat the inflation. Right?
Yeah, that's why, right, actually, as you say about inflation, that's why, like, investing in Sing dollars, right, will make more sense now. Because, right, historically saying, like, Singapore dollars has actually appreciated against a lot of different currency in the world, and it can be witnessed in the 1970s period of high inflation.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the sum up of, like, inflation in Singapore currently, which is telling and all of us, and I'm sure that a lot of younger generation know this, that because currently recently I got a lot of younger generation coming in to ask me about some investment and where can they put their money for investing. So I believe that a lot of people are like trying to find ways to beat inflation also.
Yeah, correct. So let's talk about investment denominated in SG dollar,
Yeah, the
Singapore
topic
dollar.
two.
Yeah, so before we start this, right, actually Singapore adopt a very unique policy in managing in our monetary policy. This is what we call the exchange rate policy. So this is something unique to Singapore. So the strength of Singapore dollar actually is set based on a certain band. So yeah, so this is the unique strategy that we adopt. So why actually we use this exchange rate policy is because, right, our economy is actually quite small, and also our high degree of openness to trade and capital flow. So that's why this strategy is adopted since 1981. So I really sound like an econs lecturer here. Oh my goodness.
History is history. Just now I say 1970, now she say 1981.
Yeah, 1981. Yeah, so this was started in 1981. So the Singapore dollar actually at this moment are quite attractive to investors, and because Singapore is actually seen as a safe havens for people to make investment here.
So actually the primary like framework is to actually promote price stability as a sound basic for like stable economic growth, right? Yeah, for this like investing in Sing dollar. So actually what we are trying to say that as studies shown, actually it's quite a good time to invest in Singapore dollars if all of you want to do that.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next topic. Okay, this one is not history class because this is what is happen currently.
Yes.
Which is China power cut.
Oh.
Okay, so actually China, right, has been kind of a big country now, right? It has been evolving, and then like a lot of things is from China. So a lot of people are like buying like China stocks also. Right. So what is happening currently right now in China, which is happening in October 2021 as of now lah. The coal price has actually like what causes the China power cut, right? It's actually coal price. You know what is coal?
Yep.
Before I go and study on this, right, I thought it's COLD, but actually it's not. It's COAL. It's the one that they like burn to like create energy or something, right? Fossil fuels. So actually the coal price right has actually increased double in China due to not enough energy supply in China. So as like the electricity demand have risen, right, so the prices of the coal has also pushed up. So why does coal lead to like China power cut? It's because coal is the leading indicator in the Chinese economy activity and it is used to fuel about 60% of China power plants. So like this, right, actually makes them struggle to keep pace with the demand for electricity. So some home and like factory have actually only received like limited supplies, and government actually control electricity prices because they want to keep the cost low. Yeah. So now like the factory in China cannot use electricity for the whole week, and that's why China has power. This is the reason for China power cut lah. Yeah, because like have not enough energy and they want to save the power. That's why there's China power cut. So actually also due to COVID, transportation is also very expensive. Shipping also very expensive. They are losing money by exporting because like when they export like the ship out, right, they don't want to come back with an empty ship. So their ship might just is it called deploy? It's like just stuck there because they want something to come back. Because if you come back empty-handed, actually you are losing money also. So this is why they are losing money by doing exporting. And also there's a lot of demand of China market, so that is why they are controlling the demand of the world. And China production will cut down a lot by this quarter lah. Meaning like this October, November and December, actually their production will cut down by a lot. So this is also affecting commodity price. So fun fact, okay, where we talk about China power cut, we also must talk about China power, which I think like this is something that I read that I think that is quite interesting. That actually China, right, their road, right, I don't know if all of you know, it's like they have the autonomous driving future that is paved with solar panels. That means when they are driving, like for example, if you are driving a car that is like charged by electricity, like not
EV,
by Then it's like when they're on the road, they're actually charging the car. Because the road have electricity. Don't you think that this is the future?
Yes.
Right.
Really high tech.
This is really high tech, and I feel that
Wow.
all along, right, China has been very advanced in their technology with their WeChat and everything. And now that I hear about this, it's like wow, actually they are really like ahead of all of us. Yeah, because actually it is China that started WeChat first, and like even I heard that even like the beggars also they use like WeChat. They don't accept cash now. Yeah, then but Singapore, like, I think only recent years we start to use PayLah, PayNow, and everything.
Yeah.
Then okay, so back to the topic. So basically, right, when you cut down carbon dioxide energy, it is actually more sustainable because they are trying to be more sustainable. That's why they do the power cut, right? So actually, this, right, is to promote SGD also. I don't know whether all of you have heard about SGD. It's basically like the sustainability thing, lah. And I study a bit about that, like in my degree. So basically, all this is as ESG funds, right? You can invest in ESG funds. I think in my opinion, in my personal opinion, it is the future. Because like currently everyone is trying to be more sustainable. If you take in terms of like Tokyo Olympics and all this, they are trying to like build, because Olympics has all along been like a very not sustainable event. But recent years, right, they are trying to like change it and then like be more sustainable in terms of what they use and even the stadium that they built. So all this is like the future, right?
Yeah, the ESG
funds, and for example of ESG funds, it's like for the AXA funds it's like Microval funds and Robeco Global that people can invest in.
Yeah. So the next thing, the very big topic here is Evergrande.
Yes, Evergrande. Okay, it's getting a bit sleepy now. I guess getting sleepy is a bit like a heavy this topic.
It's like a lecture, man.
Yeah, but Evergrande is also quite an interesting topic. So Evergrande is actually a company, right?
Correct. It's about actually they are managing property.
I don't know if all of you have heard before because it's all over the news.
Correct. For a while, yeah. So why is this on the news? It's because, right, this Evergrande in Chinese is called 恒大集团, okay? 恒大. So this one is actually the second largest property firm in China. Yeah, so
they have like more than 1,300 projects in more than 28,000 cities across China.
Yes.
And China, right, is very, very big. And if they are the second largest among them, right, which means that is really like a lot of people depend on them to get housing.
Correct. So yeah, for this Evergrande, they're actually in trouble now. Why? Because this company, right, actually borrow a lot of money to expand their companies. But now here I want to stress that, to borrow money and expand your company is not something very new. Okay? So because usually company, they want to go for expansion, they will actually source for funds, look for investor, all these things. So they actually borrow money. Okay? So actually Evergrande actually borrow a sum of money so to expand their business. So at the same time, they use this money to take on more projects and businesses. So now, right, because they are not able to get the funding from the bank now, so a lot of their projects are actually on hold.
So is it like the supply don't meet the demand?
Yeah, so basically for this one, right, the suppliers, okay, when we talk about supplier part, right, they actually the suppliers, because they trust this company, they also borrow money from the bank so to get all their materials for the construction and stuff. So now because of this crisis, right, the suppliers are not able to pay back for their property, their constructions, all these things. So they are actually now in a crisis.
Okay. Currently lah.
Yeah. So
but the big question is that is Evergrande gonna be China Lehman Brothers to put things into perspective?
Yeah, so actually, okay, what we share here is based on only our personal opinions here. Yeah, so
It's our podcast.
It's our podcast, yeah. So yeah, so maybe this can just be one of your many sources of information that you will get. Okay, so for this, in this scenario, right, the best case is that the government will actually step in to help this company. Yeah. So, but then the thing is that because they are the second largest company and they borrow a lot of money, right? So like, let's say this happened, right? Then this will create a culture that like anyone can start a very big company. When they're in debt, then the government will step in. So it's not a very healthy culture to
people
actually
might follow the trend of this in the future. Then in the future, maybe there become a lot of Evergrande.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So
but in my opinion, I don't think that like this will be the next Lehman Brothers.
Yeah. So just to be assured, because we have some China funds that our clients invested in, so there are actually no elements of these in our funds portfolio. Yeah. So just to be
But it's
make
like
sure.
might be a bit indirectly related lah.
Yeah, correct. So that's about this Evergrande part. So the recent news about these HDB flats.
Okay, so this HDB flat,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so basically what happened is,
Yes.
tell me.
So there's actually new rules implemented by the HDB. Okay, so it's actually based on this prime location public housing. Okay, so this PLH model, the prime location public housing, will be actually applicable to the upcoming BTOs, HDB flats in the city centre.
So actually, I think before this, okay, now it's based on my own knowledge, like now, okay, it's not exactly. So it's like, is it? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is it like Singapore people only can start buying public housing after they reach 35 years old?
For this one, for this single person buying the house,
Single people, like
single
they just
people,
like
not
one person
married.
to buy, yeah.
For this one, this one is actually more applicable to the housing in the prime location.
Oh.
Yeah, like a city
But
centre.
because generally, like even before this, right, like single people only can buy houses after they reach like a certain age. 35 years old.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, we got the information. It's correct now. It's confirmed. Okay. So it is 35 years old, which is actually already a thing that a lot of people have a lot of opinions about. And currently they come up with something that is like, okay, prime location Singapore single people cannot buy. So this is like a bit forcing. I don't know. Like, okay, I say this, I scared the government kind of find me. I feel like like it's like forcing people to get married lah. How?
So basically, like, let's say, okay, we talk about moving on to another new rules that was set is that, let's say people actually buy the house in this area, right, the prime location. So when they actually want to sell the house, right, they actually need to pay back the subsidies given.
Okay, yeah, like must be like minimum occupation, occupation.
MOP. Minimum occupation period.
Of like to 10 years.
Yeah, it's from 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and I think it's most probably 10 years lah. Extended to from 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
So now it's like you must at least stay there for 10 years, they can sell it away.
And another thing is that, right, you cannot rent your whole house. You only can rent your spare room for your house, and then even after the MOP, the 10 years, right, you still cannot rent out your whole house.
Yeah, but what I know is that recently my aunt was like telling me like in the past when you buy house it's quite easy because there's a lot of loopholes. Right, there's a lot of loopholes that actually one person name can be like under this one HDB, then they can buy another condo, then rent out this HDB or something. I don't know, like I don't remember correctly because this was last week conversation.
Yeah.
But then currently I think they are trying to get stricter and stricter so that like people cannot use this loophole lor.
Yeah. So another thing is that for these flats, right, these PLH flats, right, at least one applicant must be a Singaporean. This one actually not something new, like this one similar to like what it was implemented in the past. And then the household income, right, cannot be more than 14,000.
Oh wait. So you mean like the prime location, you cannot be more than 14,000. You cannot have more than 14,000.
For this one, it's actually the income ceiling set by the HDB to actually, like, if you want to purchase a public housing, which is the HDB flats, then you want to get the subsidies and everything, there's actually an income cap.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I cannot earn more than 14K.
If you want to get the public housing, with their grants and everything.
Oh.
Yeah. 14K.
That means 1 month.
Yeah.
A month, Oh, okay. I thought 1 year.
14.
I was thinking like 1 year is a bit.
1 month combined household income. That means everybody add up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was quite shocked. I was like, 14K per month or is it per year? 14K per year is like 1K plus per month.
Yeah. So another thing is that, right, for this, let's say you want to buy a housing, the prime location housing, right? In the past 30 months, you must not actually sell any flats or hold any private property.
Private property means that condo all this, right?
Yeah, condo landed.
Does exact condominium also considered
You do not, you just not to have any property. For the past 30 months, it's about 2 year plus.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, that's the criteria you have to fulfill. Let's say you want to actually considering purchasing BTO flats in the PLH location.
So some personal opinions is that like household income ceiling is similar to the current one, but the second part is something different, lor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So now people who want to play HDB game have to like
you know,
foresight, lor.
Yeah.
It's very hard now, like, and I don't think this is like gonna be the last time they are gonna like tighten these measures. I think in a few years time it's gonna be like
there'll be many changes lah.
something else will come out again. So I don't know, maybe they are just trying to promote people to get married. Yeah.
So if you want to get like property as a investment property one, then you have to
It's
really
difficult in Singapore if you want to do this.
you have to have a better strategies.
But it's like Punggol, Pasir Ris, all this is not prime location, right?
Don't think so.
Central location
central?
is like central location is like
Prime location.
prime. Oh really?
Unless you ulu a bit
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Pasir Ris is so ulu though.
Yeah, but there's like downtown east everything. What's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll count that also like yeah.
Oh, so not prime location is where?
The city centre is one of them. Of course, there are a few places lah.
Oh,
Ah.
okay. Yeah, okay. I think this episode is getting a bit too long and too draggy. So basically, all this is actually just to sum up what is happening currently now in Singapore. So, we have to be like
Yes.
news reporter now. Okay.
Hi.
So,
Very much.
welcome. Thank you everyone for watching like today's news at 12 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and I'm Eileen.
And I'm Wan Yi.
Thank you for watching today's weather forecast. Thank you so much. Bye
Bye.
bye.